Good evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of The Cali Effect. Today we are going to be going over the UA deck profile. Since you guys have seen the game, I've been going over, taking a lot of people's advice, going through a lot of cards just to see what could be improved upon, what could be better. Now, obviously, we know this deck is not Tier 1, so I play tested against a lot of Tier 1 decks, and I felt that I played the best available cards for me to go against them as successfully as possible. Now, obviously, like I said, this isn't a Tier 1 deck, so you guys already know what the Tier 1 decks will do to decks that aren't Tier 1. But let's go into the deck profile, more importantly. 2 copies of Dreadnought Dunker, 2 copies of Perfect Ace, 2 copies of Slugger, 1 Goalkeeper, 3 Midfielder, 3 Maxi, and 3 copies of Halbert. That's going to sum up the monsters at 16. For spells, we're going to have 3 copies of Reinforcement of the Army, 3 copies of UA Stadium, 3 copies of Signing Deal, 2 copies of Mystical Space Typhoon, 2 Terraforming, 1 UA Power Jersey, Book of Moon, and Raigeki. I think that is 16 as well. And then the traps are going to be at 8. We're going to be running 2 Mirror Force, 2 Mind Crush, 2 Breakthrough, and 2 UA Penalty Box. Now, I mean, the deck is pretty much straightforward. You want to search Stadium as fast as possible. Summon Midfielder. Midfielder is going to tutor out any of your UA monsters to your hand. And then you're going to special summon UA monster depending on the situation. So, for example, if I'm going to be attacking my opponent, I'm going to activate Stadium. I'm going to summon Midfielder. I'm going to bounce Midfielder, summon Slugger, and then run over my opponent's monsters or attack into my opponent, because when Slugger attacks, my opponent can't activate any cards. It's an Armadas. When, after all that's said and done, you typically want to bounce back and go on a Perfect Ace. Perfect Ace on your opponent's turn becomes kind of like a Solemn Judgment, so you get the negate. Keep in mind, it doesn't matter if it activates, it's just a card effect. So you get to negate anything that would activate or attempt to be used its effect. Perfect Ace is pretty good at that. It's a really good card. Sometimes you're going to need Dreadnought Dunker. I believe in the video that I did post about the UA, somebody said that it was a mini boss monster, and I completely agree. Very good boss monster. Maxi is so I can get into my combo pieces early. This is a combo-based deck, so, I mean, I want to see my Reinforcement of the Army into my midfielders. I want to see my stadiums. I want to see my signing deals. I want to see all of this stuff as fast as possible. Heroic Champion Halbert not only gives another target for Reinforcement of the Army, but when it does inflict damage, it adds another Halbert, which could be fodder for UA Perfect Ace. I mean, there's just so many things that could be going on right there. As far as Goalkeeper goes, I'm not like the hugest fan of UA Goalkeeper, but then at the same time, there's so many times where it does come into clutch. There's times where Perfect Ace isn't like the best card since Sliced Bread, and then that's when Goalkeeper comes along and it provides a solid defense. Even Goalkeeper Perfect Ace is pretty good because Goalkeeper will protect Ace. Normally your opponent will try to summon something bigger than Ace and attack over to before they activate cards. But if you have Goalkeeper on Ace, then yeah, it's not going anywhere, and it gets to negate once per turn. So I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't run the level 6 guy. I think his name is Rebounder. Rebounder had a lot of properties that I just felt, I mean, it required a situation for me to already be beating the living daylights out of my opponent in order just to gain a card to my hand. So I was like, you know what, I'd rather not. But it is an amazing effect. If I ever find out how to exactly use it to special summon it on my opponent's turn, it just seemed really awkward. Maybe if Signing Deal was a quick play, then I don't know. Ultimately, like I said, it's a pretty decent card in my opinion, but I just could not find a way to play it, so I didn't play it. We already know about stadiums. We already know about signing deals. Typhoons are obvious. I really think 2 Mystical Space Typhoons should probably be played in every deck right now because of back row is making its comeback. I mean, even Necros do play. Sometimes they play back row. Sometimes they play, you know, stuff like that. But looking at the top deck list for ARG and almost any tournament, they're starting to main board some type of a destruction. So it obviously means that our meta is coming up more with destruction. Only 1 copy of Power Jersey. I have a love-hate situation about Power Jersey. I like Power Jersey because, like, yes, you equip it to your Slugger. Yes, you're going to hit for all this damage. I mean, you can do just so many things with it. And then I hate it because you draw it and you don't draw the appropriate pieces and it just sits in your hand and it's like, bruh. So I felt that one copy, especially since it's searchable, I mean, it's not really a bad card. So I definitely didn't want to exclude it, but including more than one copy was definitely hard. You guys should already know about Book of Moon, Raigeki, Mirror Force, Mind Crusher, Breakthrough Skill. Very solid. I felt that running back row was better than not running back row. I mean, a lot of players I've seen run minimal and less back row and stuff like trap stuns and stuff like decrees, which, I mean, in my opinion, isn't that bad, but I just rather not do it. I'd rather be prepared with trap cards to disrupt my opponent, disrupt the Necro players with Mind Crush and Breakthrough Skills, to disrupt the meta players, Cleaford, rather than just running cards like Decree, which is minimum against all the good decks, but effective against Rogue. So, I mean, I would expect to see more, you know, quote-unquote meta matchups. UI penalty block, somebody actually explained it really, really well. You want to keep it in your hand more often than not to pitch it with perfect ace, so it continues to get you advantage. I was probably using it wrong. There is some times where you'll set it and you'll use that effect, and don't get me wrong, that effect is good, especially when it's to get over XC monsters, but you really want to pitch it for perfect ace. It's going to search you just about everything else in the deck. I know I'm missing a card that I did not run. A couple of cards that I didn't run was Summoner Monk, Monarch Stormforth. There's quite a few cards, and I wish I knew all of them right now so I can explain why I didn't run them. The Monarch Stormforth, I just felt that I was running, I didn't need to tribute my opponent's monsters. I would probably be sideboarding them because against, let's say hypothetically, against the Genlock. Against the Genlock, I only have 5 targets. So how to evenly use how to evenly use the Monarch Stormforth, it would get kind of tricky, and then I would have to wait for a card like Djinn. If Trishul has already filled and activated and resolved this effect, I mean, I lost past then. It's nothing really much else after that. So don't get me wrong, like I said, Monarch Stormforth is good, but it's dead on its own. I don't feel I run enough tribute monsters to run Monarch Stormforth. If Dreadnought Dunker was level 5, or I mean, I'm sorry, level 6, I would definitely be more inclined to run it. But I mean, I'm still on the fence about it. If you guys really wanted to play it, maybe you could take out, you know, a Terraforming and a Book of Moon or something like that. It's not a bad card, like I said. Summoner Monk, I just did not feel was needed whatsoever. I mean, I have 6 ways to get midfielder to the field, so I just didn't feel it was needed whatsoever. It's just a card of the past. Oh, Reasoning. Reasoning, I just feel is bad. I mean, anytime you activate Reasoning, your opponent's going to call forward. And you better hope to God that you hit one of your other cards. And if you do, it's still mediocre, because then all I have to do is get over that card, if not slower. So I just felt, you know, Reasoning was mediocre. And then there's the opportunity of me hitting Max C, and then Max C is just on the field for no reason. Like I said, there's so many other cards that I could talk about. This is practically the deck profile. Since you don't go into extra, I'm just going to give you guys an extra anyways. Don't go into it, like I said. And that's really about it. Thank you guys for watching. Let's get into the extra deck. Alright, fellas, like I said, the extra deck is, you don't play it. I mean, you really don't use it, so it's really a whole bunch of fuckboy cards. I mean, I really can't explain it any other way. You actually can make Thunder Charger with 2 of the basketball guys, so it's like, why not, since I run a lot of level 5s. So 1 Thunder Charger, 1 is Wind Up Zenmoa, 1 Volcasaurus, 1 Durandal. This actually is a really good rank 5 to go into, especially like against the Necros matchup, because you can stop like Trish. You can just stop a lot of cards from going off just by making Durandal and destroying like your UA penalty box. And yeah, that's just it gets good from there. It's a pretty decent card. I actually like it, especially if you don't have cards in your hand and you need to negate an opponent's card. So after Durandal, it's Dark Rebellion, Plate Armor, Silent Arnarch, Excalibur, Castell, Heartland Draco, Exiton, Lava Volchain, Dweller, Cowboy, Berserk. Berserk, I actually tried to go into a couple of times, and when I did, it was against the Necros player, just so I can banish his stuff. Lava Volchain, somebody actually told me to run it, and I haven't tried it out since. I've never went into it since. But in theory, if I have like 2 Halberds or an extra midfielder that I don't need, I make a Lava Volchain and I send Penalty Box, and Penalty Box gets me whatever I need at that given time. So it wasn't a bad idea for him to suggest it. Blade Armor and Heroic Champion I haven't ran in the deck in so long. Like I said, you can practically mix and mash anything up. I want to say the only MVPs of this would be the Durandal, because it's Durandal. It's like an extra negate. The Exercise, I've went to this quite a few times just because I've lost so much advantage playing this deck. And I guess the Rhapsody and Berserk. If you pretty much went into any of the other ones, more often than not, you were pretty desperate. So yeah, hopefully you went into it and it really, really, really got you game like Cowboy or Vocasaurus into Gaia, the Thunder Charger. But that's practically about it. Thank you guys so much for watching another segment of the Cali Effect. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.